think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump, because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, an ass, and he shouldn't even be president of the United States.
Yo, Granny going crazy. Tell him, Granny. You tell him. By the way, I'm also in Canada. I wish I could say psych or nah, man. I love Canada. Honestly, bro, like jokes aside though, I've been joking around a lot. No, I love Canada, bro. I love everything about Canada except for the taxes. The taxes are god awful, bruh. We gotta come together as one.
Because he is, we need a strong person so that we could stand strong.
So, folks,
shout out to the homie Matt. So we ended up getting the homie Mark, okay?
that right there is pretty much the entire reason why Mark Carney won the election. Millions of Canadians were effectively fear-mongered into hating President Trump, and they were deceived into believing that Mark Carney was going to be the guy who would fight President Trump tooth and nail. But as we now know, it only took Mark Carney less than 48 hours after winning the election to call up President Trump in order to beg for a new deal. Take a look at this.
Shit. Okay.
And yesterday he spoke about American betrayal. Are you interested in rebuilding relations with Canada? And if so, how?
No, well, I think we're going to have a great relationship. He called me up yesterday. He said, "Let's make a deal." You know,
oh, that's good.
He was running for office. They both hated Trump, and it was the one that hated Trump, I think, the least that won. I actually think the conservative hated me much more than the so-called liberal. He's a pretty liberal guy.
Why do you think?
No, I spoke to him yesterday. Couldn't have been nicer. And I congratulated him. You know, it was a very mixed signal because it's almost even, which makes it very complicated for the country. It's a pretty tight race, but he's a very nice gentleman, and he's going to come to the White House very sure.
Thank you. I don't know about that one, man. I really hope, bro. Like, listen, man, I said it is over. It's been over for us for a minute, man. I mean, listen, bro, like, even before, bro, like, we all saw that coming, that Mark was gonna win, right? Because we saw the polls, bro. It is, like, listen, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in America, wherever you are, right? Just looking at the data, this is insane. Whether you voted for Mark or not, I mean, most Canadians voted for Mark, that's why he won, right? But the point is that it is crazy because mostly all Canadians were like, we're gonna vote for Pierre, okay? Pierre Poilievre, his ratings were, guys, like, this is insane. I've never seen anything like that, right? Even when, because with Trump and Joe Biden, it was a close call, right? Of course, people believe that it was fake or this or that. Yeah, that's, I mean, we're not gonna talk about that, but like, people were talking about that, but even if it was fake or real or whatever, right? It was a very close call. But for Canada, it was clear as day Pierre was gonna win. My God, it's between 100 and 80%, so like 90%. It's safe to say 90 because it's above 80%, right? We can see the 80% line, but then it started dipping. Crazy, bro. I've never seen anything like that. And on Judgment Day, aka the election day, yeah, he got closer to 40%, but still, you know, Mark Carney was way too high on the totem pole here, on the chart here, so he ended up winning. And it's all because, and we should not point fingers, and I'm not gonna point fingers because, like, yeah, anybody can say anything. You should not be changing. You should not get influenced by that, but it is clear as day people ended up getting influenced, and then they voted for who they thought or who they think is best to rival President Trump. I mean, even Pierre said that, right? Like, he's gonna make sure that Canada and US never becomes one. Even Pierre was saying that, right? Which is understandable. Listen, man, like, I can respect that. Like, even I don't think that Canada and America would become one. I got no issues though, right? Like, after, yeah, bro, like, I'm cool becoming one, I'm cool not becoming one, if that makes sense. But, you know, America and Canada, like, if we come together, bro, like, we're gonna be a superpower though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one country, bro, it's gonna be crazy big, crazy, right? Because we got some good stuff going on. Now, if you're an American, don't say, hey, you guys got nothing good going on. Nah, man, we got maple syrup, brothers. We got maple. Nah, I'm joking. We got way more than maple syrup, but admittedly, right, like, one country, it would have been crazy, y'all. It would have been crazy, but of course, realistically, objectively, it's just not gonna happen. But I do wish for that I do wish that we can come closer even more than before, but I don't know about that one. Hopefully they can find resolution, but it's insane. It really is insane how much like Pierre, bruh, like the bag was fumbled, bro. The bag was fumbled, man.
Within the next week or less.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Not only has Prime Minister Mark Carney already called President Trump to de-escalate the ongoing trade war, but he's also literally flying down to the White House to have a one-on-one meeting next week. So like I said,
that was expected though, honestly. So yeah, let's continue.
Right now, liberal Canadians are feeling totally betrayed. They voted for a guy who promised to stand strong against President Trump, but within 48 hours of winning the election, he's already capitulating to...
Okay, show me the angry Canadians, because yeah, I'm not seeing any... People are pretty happy right now here in terms of him winning, but people are, of course, like, that did not want him to win. They're quite upset, but I suppose, like, even the Liberals thought that he was gonna fly down there, like, they're gonna make the deal, like, yeah, right? Like, okay, I don't know, maybe not, let's continue.
President Trump. Mark Carney's entire campaign was built on resisting President Trump's tariffs, resisting President Trump's border policies, and resisting President Trump's American energy dominance, and now he's begging President Trump for a deal. But now, check this out. You see, it's not just the liberal Canadians that are upset right now. In fact, pretty much all the other Canadians are pissed off right now, too. But before we break all of that down, I do want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. But okay, folks, think about this for a second. Canadians got so fed up with Justin Trudeau that they called an emergency election. Canadians came together and overwhelmingly said, we are done with our incompetent liberal leadership.
And this is why, because of the homie Trudeau, right, exactly. So, because of Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, Conservative Party, for those of you that do not know, jumped up closer, if not more, than 90%. Like, my God, I've never seen anything like that, bro. Yeah, Canadians were united, but then Canadians got united in the other way around, which is crazy, man. Listen, man, this is our reality. I just hope for the best, bro. I just hope for the best. I hope the homie Mark now lowers the taxes. He does some good stuff. Debatable. We'll see, but I hope for the best outcome, man. I just kind of, brother, just get a good outcome. That's all what I hope for, man. Simple.
And then what did they do? They replaced Justin Trudeau with yet another incompetent globalist from the Liberal Party. Really, it's absolutely astounding. So yeah, right now, Canadian Conservatives are just a little bit pissed off. In fact,
if you're in Canada, like, I want to know your thoughts, like, honest thoughts, like, don't filter yourself, put it in the comments, like, did you vote for Liberal, did you not? Because even my homies, they were like, we're gonna vote for Pierre, but then they switched up to Mark, bro. Yeah, they switched up to Mark. Like, my close buddies, they switched up to Mark. They really did. So, a lot of, I mean, data does not lie. Majority did vote for Mark, right? That's why he won. So, yeah. But what we're figuring out is that the boomers voted. Mostly the boomers were for Mark, but even, like, the youngins voted for Mark. I mean, it'd be what it'd be, though, so, yeah.
In Alberta, people are so pissed off that they're trying to separate from the rest of the country altogether. Right now, there's a massive petition making the rounds with over 209,000 signatures calling for Alberta to officially break away. Now, would Alberta join the United States? Would it become its own country? Who knows? But the point is very clear. People are fed up with being ruled by a party that doesn't speak for them. And you know what? Let's be honest here. Mark Carney is the pure definition of a weak leader. He shifts with whatever way the wind is blowing, sells out to the highest bidder, and clearly has no principles beyond whatever earns him the most praise from the global elites. Now, unfortunately, Canadians are stuck with this guy for the next 4 years, and with the way the world is currently unraveling, a weak leader like Carney is the last kind of person you'd want manning the helm. So what's his best move right now? Well, if he's smart, he'll try to make amends with the one man who actually has the leverage to fix this entire...
Yo, I'm gonna be honest, like, because even Pierre said that he's never gonna make Canada and US, or Canada's gonna stay Canada, right? But, yo, if somehow, someway, the homie Mark sells Canada, yo, that would be the craziest turn of events ever. A lot of people that voted for him would feel betrayed, but now I don't think he will. And objectively speaking, like, it's not gonna happen, guys, because you know, Canada got free healthcare. Canada's also a welfare society, okay? Yeah, it's a welfare society, and also education is free for the most part. Of course, we got private stuff here too, private hospitals as well, and private clinics, so those are of course not free, but generally speaking, education is free. Healthcare, we got free healthcare. And yeah, people are always gonna debate about whether like it's free or not. Of course, like higher taxes is why it's free, right? Absolutely, right? But and also appointments, it takes sometimes 6 months to a year. But if you got a crazy situation where you're like getting very close to, like, if you're dying, they're actually gonna help you right then and there. So we got free healthcare in that, and you're not gonna like break or your bank, or you're not gonna be going under debt. So we have that, and it's good in that way for sure. So you got all of these things, right? And on top, the gun laws. The gun laws big, bro. Now the gun laws are big. You know, people feel some way about it, and people feel some way about it, right? So most Canadians, they do not want, like, you know what I'm saying, right? They do not want school. Yeah, that's a cliche, that's a stereotype, I'm aware of that. That stuff happens a lot in the US, but it's a stereotype, right? So people do not want that. What about that, right? So that's an important factor. Then you, of course, money talks, bullshit walks, okay? So what about the US dollars? What about the Canadian dollar? Yeah, right, Canadian dollar is lower than USD. So how is that gonna work, right? Are we gonna automatically convert? Now the homie Trump said that if Canada and US becomes one, then Canada's gonna keep their theme song. Bruh. They're gonna keep their name. Bruh. This I don't know, man. It's very hard, guys. So it's simply put, we're not gonna become one. But let's hear the homie Mark Carney real quick.
On Tuesday, I had a very constructive call with President Trump.
So CNN and CTV reporting. Yes, CTV, that's Canada. CNN, as some of you would like to say, fake news. Okay, just wanted to mention that real quick because, yeah, it's funny. And
we agreed to meet next Tuesday in Washington.
Oh, snap.
Our focus will be on both immediate trade pressures and the broader future economic and security relationship between our two sovereign nations. My government will fight to get the best deal for Canada. We will take all the time necessary, but not more, in order to do so. In parallel, we will strengthen our relationships with reliable trading partners and allies. Canada has what the world needs, and we uphold the values the world respects.
What specific?
The world respect? I don't know about that one, man. Real quick though, guys, I want to shout out the homies. A shout out to the homie Anthony. Shout out to all of you guys for following over on the grams. Really appreciate y'all. If you do have the grams, I would love to have you there. Links are always down below. Same as my YouTube channel username. You search up SKizzle, you gonna find it. If you don't have the Instagrams, I would love to have you over on the Twitters, the X. Alright, let's get back to the content here, boo boo.
Specifically, do you want to get out of your first?
Hold the values the world respects.
What specifically do you want to get out of your first in-person meeting with President Trump? And will you be focused on trying to get the tariffs lifted?
Thank you for the question. For the first meeting, as I mentioned in my remarks, and the President and I discussed when we had our constructive call, there are two sets of issues. There are the immediate tariffs, both sectoral and so-called reciprocal and fentanyl tariffs, and then there is the broader relationship. So addressing both sets of issues. We'll see how that progress goes. It's important to get engaged immediately, which has always been my intention, has always been his intention, and I'm pleased to have the opportunity for quite a comprehensive set of meetings that will take place on Tuesday.
Comprehensive, okay, all right. Yo, it's crazy, right? The biggest reason he won was because of tariffs, Trump, and also 51st state. Crazy. I mean, even Pierre was gonna like talk about all that, right? Like even the whole Pierre said that, nay, we're never gonna be 51st state and all that, and also basically the same thing. But you know, the thing is this, right? Based off of what I'm seeing, the liberals here in Canada are not liberal in terms of, because American liberals, different breed, right? Canadian liberals, different breed, and same goes with the Conservative Party. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because this is, of course, an opinion. I do believe that the reason Mark Carney, Liberal Party, won the major reason is because of the chaos that Trump has caused, right? Now, you guys gotta understand that I am fully aware. In America, you guys are half and half with that, right? So some of you believe that he's not causing chaos. Some of you believe that he's causing chaos. And I mean, whatever your angle is, it's probably correct because we've got a different perspective out here, right? But you guys gotta understand that people outside of America thinks differently about Trump. A lot of people believe that he's orange man bad, he causes chaos. A lot of people also believe that he's amazing for America, but not for my country or not for the rest of the world. So, you know, you got 3 different opinions, which are general opinions, right? So this has left me believing that because of what has happened with Trump, Conservative Party, people were like, okay, we gotta vote the opposite, you know, the opposition. Now, Pierre Poilievre, Conservative Party, he wasn't gonna be as crazy as the Conservative Party in US, okay? And same goes so far, okay? Maybe we're gonna be proven wrong here, guys. Maybe he's gonna be equally, if not maybe even crazier than Biden, maybe crazier than the Liberal Party of America. We're gonna find out very soon. But generally speaking, yeah, it's pretty like pretty tame though. Like Canadian Liberals are tamer than American Liberals, and also the same way goes for the Canadian conservatives being tamer than the American conservatives. But it is pretty much, yeah, these are the 3 pillars: 51st state, tariffs, Trump bad, and that's why the homie won. Crazy, man. It's like, it's one of those things, right? One man's loss is another man's gain. That's how he won, bro. Insanity, man. But let's hope for the best.
How do you avoid an Oval Office ambush like we saw happen to President Zelensky?
Look, I go there with the expectation of constructive, difficult but constructive discussions. That's the spirit of the conversations that the president and I had. You know, you go to these meetings well prepared, understanding the objectives of your counterpart, and always acting in the best interest of Canada, and we'll go from there.
In your second call with the president, did Mr. Trump outright say or insinuate at any point that Canada should become the 51st state?
He did not.
All right. We've heard Mr. Trump.
Yo, what if the homie Trump actually caused all this? He's like, okay, we gotta get the homie Mark to win, because it's wild, right? Because yeah, he would always call Trudeau the governor, but not anymore, not this time around. But man, like, I'm actually, yo, bro, like, one country, bro, like, that would be insane, right? But I'm gonna ask you guys this question, right? If you're in America, after seeing these elections, because like, if you like Trump, if you voted for Trump in America, do you really want, like, you know, the opposite party? Because I'm certain you guys do not want Kamala winning next time, but you better believe it, bro. If you become one country, bro, Kamala is probably gonna win next time. Yo, she gonna win easy next time. Okay, so I'm certain you guys do not want that, but no, seriously, okay, jokes aside, bro, Canada, US would be crazy, bro. Like, oh my goodness, man. Yeah, we would be crazy, man. Crazy big, but sadly not gonna happen, though. Or happily not gonna happen. I mean, you know, there are different angles to look at it, for sure. There are pros and cons to everything, right? But listen, man, I love Canada, bro. I love everything about it, except for the taxes, man. The taxes are way too high. 53% taxes, way too high, man. If it was like 30% high, but all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, 40% high, but lower than 53%. So it's bad, but it's like less bad, right? 53%, man, it's crazy, guys. Like, you have to agree, right? Even, man, that's the only thing I hate about it. But other than that, I love Canada, bro. I really do. I mean it, man. I love Canada, bro. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Despite all, we obviously got over problems. Of course, we got over problems. But despite all that, I love my country, man. I love Canada, man.
On April 23rd, and his surrogates throughout the final days of the campaign reiterate the idea that they believe Canada should become the 51st state. On the campaign trail, you said on multiple occasions that respect for Canada would be one of the key things in terms of having a meeting with him. Do you think over the past few days we have seen respect for Canada from the Trump administration?
Nope.
I would...
Oh, yeah? Okay.
It's always important to distinguish want from reality. La volonté et la réalité, right? What someone wants and what is reality and what...
La volonté, la abuela, oui, c'est ça, exactement, brother. Exactement, là. Man, ma bat les couilles, bro. Ma bat les couilles, man.
La volonté et la réalité, right?
La volonté, la what?
What someone wants and what is reality and what the Canadian people clearly have stated. virtually without exception, is this will never, ever happen. And if any of the leaders of the party and their representatives would attest to that, I think the votes attest to it. I think the public dialogue attests to it as well. We are, we're meeting as heads of our government to discuss that partnership. Now, I'm not pretending those discussions will be easy or they won't proceed in a straight line. There'll be zigs and zags, ups and downs.
Zigs and zags, ladies and gentlemen.
But as I said in my remarks, I will fight for the best deal for Canada and only accept the best deal for Canada and take as much time that's necessary.
To my colleagues,
please, no more than 4 years, okay? No more than 4 years.
Point. The White House's public position has continued to be that Canada should be the 51st state. You yourself have said that Donald Trump is trying to break Canada. Considering all that, how can you expect good faith negotiations when you travel to Washington next week?
Look, I think first I've had the direct conversation with him on whatever day it was, Tuesday, I guess it was, a couple of days ago. And we agreed to have those negotiations. Very clear discussion between us, as I said, very constructive. I would say the time allocated to our meeting and the seniority of he's the president, so that's as senior as you get, but the other members of his administration who will be assisting at those meetings suggest the seriousness of the discussions. Again,
yeah, I would say he speaks better than Trudeau though. He speaks better than Biden, right? You gotta admit to that. You gotta agree, right? You gotta agree to that. He speaks better than Biden. He does speak better than Biden, but come on now, right? Let's hope. Action speaks louder than words. Let's hope he does Canada justice, man. That's the reality right now, right? He's the. He won though, so you know what I'm saying. I hope he does justice, man. I hope he lowers the taxes. In my dreams, okay, I'll take it, man. Whatever.
Do not expect white smoke out of that meeting. There'll be white smoke probably later somewhere else in the world this month. But do not expect that. But so that's the first thing. Is just the level of the direct dialogue, the discussion, the level of.
Got it, boss. Got it. But did you see this video though? If not, click on this video on the screen because what she was caught doing, insane. Check it out, and I'll see you right there.